Welcome to the Rockstar Relationship Show with Keith and Jesse.
Grab your favorite drink, put down your judgy attitude, and let's rock.
And here we are. First of all, how are you?
I'm great.
What if you were mad? Would you even admit it?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, good. We'll have to get you mad one of these days and jump into the podcast.
Like when I'm mad, you're like, let's do a podcast. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Do you know what happened?
I like your necklace.
Oh, thanks.
Where'd you get it?
Uncommon James.
Ooh.
I got it from you. Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
You killed it.
Yeah, I did. Okay, hey, listen. One of the exercises we went through early on in getting back together, and I think served us well as well, and still things we talk about to this day, is a vision for what we want. A vision for what you really want. There's a Bible verse that says, without vision, the people perish. Meaning, if you don't see where you're going, it's never going to happen. Goal setting. There's a lot of science behind setting goals.
Yeah, not just for relationships, for everything.
For everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everything.
Your vision board, right?
Yeah, that's why people have a vision board. It's like because they want to focus on it and attract it in their life. The law of attraction is built around this. There's a lot of that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that very few couples that we know that are even in good, decent relationships have never really stopped to say, what is the vision for what you want? And the time we did this time that we did it at the very beginning was like, how many times do you want to have sex every week? How many times do you want to go on a date? What kind of food are you guys like? It just kind of broke down. Like, what do you want? Where do you want to? Where would you guys both like to live? I think we both said Southern California. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of that vision for us is coming to pass. And of course, anytime you hit a goal, you're setting a new vision for a new goal. Mm-hmm. And I think what happens is sometimes people get so beat down that they can't even see a vision of anything other than just, I'm trying to survive another day.
Yeah. Which
is really sad. And our desire is to help them and give them hope and to give them tools to be able to get past that. But when it comes to a vision and sharing, like, hey, I would like to live a life like this. What does that mean to you? And what did that do for you when we talked about that? And your lip gloss looks fire today, by the way.
Lip gloss is popping.
Yeah, it's super popping.
I think for me, it gave me hope in the clouds that we were in at the time. And I think what it does for me now is it excites me and pushes me towards something that I want for us. Yeah. So, and like talk about having kids, a dog, like things like that. Mm-hmm. But when we were in the fog, and so when we wrote down the things that we liked about each other and also what do we want together made me like more happy about like, oh, he wants that too. Mm-hmm. We want to do that together. So give me more hope. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to shout out for the guys just a second here. I remember when we talked about, like, because every guy has, like, an envision of what he wants his sex life to look like, right? And I know we talk about that a lot because guys just, it's like kind of the only thing they think about.
And they don't really want to say it, huh?
No.
So they talk about it with other guys. And they don't really,
with other guys, yeah. And for good reason they shouldn't talk about it with their wives in certain ways.
Right.
If you're naggy, needy, whiny, pouty, that doesn't make her want to spread them. Mm-mm. But a different approach would be, and I know friends, people I love, that they and their wife are not on the same sheet of music when it comes to frequency of sex or whatever, but I don't feel like they can share what they would like. I'm not sure why, but let me say this. Let me say this. If I wanted to have sex every other day, like it that was my vision for my best life, and you're like, I only want it twice a week. Mm-hmm. Knowing you'd be like, I want to fulfill your vision. Yeah. The same way if you said, Keith, I would really like it, your vision of for your best life would be something that it was just like, that doesn't mean that much to me, maybe per se, but I would do it for you because I'm like, that means that's living her best life. Mm-hmm. And I think that if couples had that simple conversation and said, hey, the vision for my life would be this, for the other person to know it would be like, well, I would want them to have that.
Well, then they can come to a happy medium about things.
Yeah, or have a discussion based on actual data and not a ton of drama. You know, I live in the world of marketing a lot, and our favorite saying, everybody's favorite saying is, give me the data, not the drama. And so what typically will happen in a sex scenario is like, I never get to have sex. You never want to do it. Yeah. And it's just all drama.
Well, then for me, it makes me feel like a walking vagina.
Yeah.
Like that's all you want? And
yeah.
You want to spend time with me?
I think that's where you and I have really fired up our relationship this last 3 years is because I've taken so much interest in who you are as a human. And
instead of just sex. Like you haven't shown me attention all day.
Yeah.
Now you just want me to lay down for you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And so what do we say? Like if you want sex on Thursday, it starts on Tuesday or Monday, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It has to be consistent.
Yeah.
You show interest in me.
And
instead of just
to keep it at the sex thing, it's never always just about me. It's so much about you too. Like you like back rubs and massages. Yeah, so it's like if we were to go into total default mode and we're like, hey, you want to have sex? And we go, yeah. We'd go upstairs and you would lay on the bed ready for a massage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes we might just be making out and then we having sex or whatever. But like default mode would be, massage. You know you're going to get a great massage.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get laid. And it's going to be fucking fantastic. So the conversation is usually pouty, whiny, blamey, point the finger. Why don't you ever? You never. I wish I had, as opposed to, hey, sex is just one part of a relationship. And what are the other areas of your life that you want to have vision for? And what is your vision for that part of our life? I remember that piece specifically because we were getting along and we were friends and we were starting to develop great friendship with each other when you came back, but it was that intimacy thing that was a big one. It was
hard for me.
Yeah, it was harder. But that again pushed us in the direction of like, well, what is our vision for this? You know what I mean? And this is rarer, but the flip side is there's women that are like, I want it a lot more often.
Yeah.
And my husband works late and he's always tired, blah, blah, blah.
It's always one or the other, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's like, well, hold on a second. Are we going to make time for this relationship? Because when it all boils down to it, I'm going to have a lot of guy friends come in and out of my life and they'll be in, they'll be out. Some will stay for, there's always a reason or a season or they'll be there forever, right? But you'll be in my life, I hope, forever. You know what I'm saying?
But show me some time.
But other people come and go. So it's like we're so often willing to build into these things that actually are very temporary and neglect the thing that's permanent. So this vision for each other. So there's a vision for each other's life, and then there's a vision. What would you say is just a couple of 3 techniques or tactics or tips that might help people say, this is how you would be able to go about creating a vision with each other?
I mean, just talk about it. Just start talking about it. What do you mean?
Yeah, okay. So you sit down and you talk about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like us to cast a vision for who we want to become one day.
What do you want this relationship to look like?
Yeah.
Have you envisioned when you were a kid?
You
know, all those things that you think about. I want this many kids, this, and so.
It makes you almost feel like you're more of a team.
Isn't it all just communication?
Well, yeah, but so many people are really, 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 really poor at it. Yeah. And even people who are great communicators in some things are not great communicators in other things. Yeah. Especially if they're feeling neglected, left out, rejected. Like, How do you communicate? Those are emotional things. And
or
guys,
baggage that they've had from old relationships.
Yeah.
No one wants to feel rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a couple of tactics or techniques is to sit down and be like, hey, let's sit down and talk about what our vision would like to be as a couple. These are the 3 things that are important to me. What are the 3 things that are important to you? And I think a great question for that would be something to the effect of, if we get to the end of our life and look back and we said we could only accomplish these 3 things as a couple, or we could say we were really good at these 3 things as a couple, what would they be? And why don't we set about making sure that happens? You know what I mean?
What's the direction we need to go in to hit those goals?
Yeah, what do we need to invest in to make that happen? For some people, it's, hey, I want to travel the world, and I want to travel it with you, so we need to sync up our schedules in a way that makes it easy for us to be able to go do that, right? Think about that. If your vision is traveling the world with your partner, how much that would affect every single one of your decisions. What do you do for work? Where do you do it? What is your expenses and overhead and how you live to be able to have money to be able to go do that? Like all of that. Are we going to if we want to eventually just travel for the most part and see this world, and I actually kind of get that, even though I'm such a routine guy.
Yeah.
That I want to routine it up and then go travel somewhere and come right back.
Yeah.
Some people like to just travel. Like, this is a big world. I live a short life. I want to see everything. That would massively, massively affect, do we have pets? Do we have kids? Where do we live?
Take the kids?
Do we live near the airport? I mean, setting that goal, and I love what Stephen Covey, the guy who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, start with the end in mind. And that's where this concept came from is, well, what's the end result? If you and I are 92 and we go, hey, we're passing away tomorrow, and we've just spent the last 68 years together.
Dang.
That seems so far out there.
Yeah.
I hope we make it to 92. I hope we're banging on our 90th birthday.
Oh, God.
That'd be so funny. What would we be proud of? Okay, cool. Then reverse engineer it. You know what I mean? I know one thing I would be proud of, and that is that I would want to say that I deeply loved and was deeply loved. That would be something that at 92 I'd look back and go, I accomplished that. What would you say? Just one. You don't have to give all 3.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'd like to say that I had fun in my life instead of just, pushed down by life and things. I just, I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
I want to be happy.
I guess that's what we're trying to decide is what will determine what will make you happy. Knowing you, I think what you're saying, you said it fine, but I said another way, would be I want to live a life full of really kick-ass memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. So then we have to be about building a life that can build those memories. You know what I want us to be more than anything? And you know why I want this podcast truly to impact millions of people? Not so we can say millions of people listen to us. It's so that millions of people can gain a vision of a life way better than the life they're living right now. Could you imagine millions of people going around saying, I don't have to settle for just bullshit. I don't have to settle for mediocre, because that's what you and I are not about settling. Like, we hate settling.
Yeah.
It's like it's the antithesis of everything. We're not going to settle for shit. No, I'm not settling for that. If somebody said, hey, Keith, we're going to give you this, and it's like, no, that's not what I'm settling for. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to settle for. So we're always pushing each other. But I think that what I hope we are is this great lighthouse for people to be like, well, they did it. they were broken up twice and with other people, and now here they're back happy as pigs and shit, and offer that hope, but like also saying, hey man, we decided that these are the 3 things that were really, really important to us. And everything, we can't do it all, so we can only do these 3 things, as it were. So we're going to focus on this and let everything else fall by the wayside. What do you say to that?
Yeah.
That sounds good, right?
It does.
Yeah. Anything else about casting a vision? I think it's as simple as just do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be clunky.
Even if they just did it themselves, what they want, then they can make decisions based upon that.
Yeah.
But I think doing it together, that would be a vision for each other's life, and it gives you hope.
Yeah. You know, now that you just said that, it makes me wonder how many couples know what the life goal is of their other couple.
Well, I know yours now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so many people are so worried about just making sure they make bills at the end of the month, and they're taking care of dying parents, and they're carting kids to go to soccer practice, and you know, it's hitting me right now as we're talking that we're talking about how women oftentimes will lose their life in the midst of other people, but I think it actually happens to a lot of guys too. Guys just kind of get crumpled down. They settle for this shitty job. They never really chase their dream. And they're just kind of settling for, you know what, McDonald's is quick. So, who cares if I become 70 pounds overweight? You know, the old ball and chain loves me anyway. And she's gotten a little thick too, like whatever. And they've just lost their life to nothing.
They lost their life to life.
To just the burdens of, and didn't even just step back and say, how do I design the life I really want?
You only get one.
You only get one.
I mean, I think.
Well, that we know of. Yeah. If I had any in the past, I don't remember.
I don't remember them. This is it.
This is it. You only get one. But here's the thing, though. Let's talk about how to approach each other. So I'm going to take a wild guess. It's not that wild because I do have some stats behind me, but the wild guess is that mostly women are watching this and listening to it. There's going to be guys, just because I'm a guy's guy, and they're going to be like, well, okay, what does this guy have to say? But 90% of all relationship materials and books are typically bought by women. So let's address how a woman should approach a man.
Okay.
And I don't, and I'm just pausing even to consider, like, saying it's all 97% the guy's fault. Mostly women buy our stuff, you know, and it's like these guys are just dumb idiots and whatever. I don't think that guys are dumb. I don't think they're idiots. I don't think that they've really learned any better, maybe, is probably the right way of saying it.
Okay.
So how do you think a woman, and then I'll say it from a guy's perspective, how do you think a woman should approach her husband to try and get him on board for the vision? And then we can talk about how do you think a man should do it?
Well, let me ask you then. If I came to you and said, hey, this is kind of an exciting thing to do. Let's think about what we want together for our future. How do you want our relationship to look like in the future?
Yeah.
What are things that I can do that make you more happy? Like more exciting?
Now, that seems super good because you and I are so great at communicating.
Okay.
And no, what I'm saying is I love that. If you approach me like that, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm in.
Excited to get better, right? Instead of, you know what, you never put time into me.
Yeah.
Can we do this? Or no, but just excited.
Yeah. I love this.
Plus, you like excitement. So.
Well, yeah, because of course, I'm an enthusiast. But so you're saying the gal should come to the guy and say, "Hey, I'd really like to get excited about what our vision and our future is together. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about what do you want and ladies, I would frame it just the same way. I would say, "Hey, guy. Hey, my guy.
Hey, guy.
I've been thinking, like, we're going to do this for the next 70 years.
Right?
What do we want to be proud of in our 90s about our relationship? What mattered? What can we look back and go, I'm proud of that? Mm-hmm. And I've jotted some things down for me that I'd want to, and I know I'm just springing this on you, but I would love to spend some time together mapping through this and really starting to choose our life by design. Would you do that with me? I don't know a guy that would say no.
So how would you say it to a girl if you wanted to do it?
Okay. I'd probably say it very, very similarly.
Yeah. Right.
I would say very similarly. Hey, I've been really contemplating my life lately. And I want to make sure that when I get to the end of the road, I look back and I have no regrets.
I'm a little unhappy.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh.
I wouldn't say I'm unhappy because then that puts the burden on why haven't you made me happy?
Ooh, you're right.
And your job is not to make me happy. My job is to show up as happy as shit and to add value to whatever it is that you're bringing to the table. That's what I look at a relationship like. Now there are things, but there are things that do make me happy. Mm-hmm. Like obviously I can't have sex with myself. I mean, I could, but it's not as fun.
Yeah.
So I would say I've been thinking about my life and the things that I want to make sure I live it to the fullest. And I want to make sure I have no regrets. And you're a part of that. You're my partner in creating this life that I'm living. And I've thought it through, and these are some things that are important to me, but I want to hear what your thoughts are, what's important to you, so that we can build this life together.
Yeah.
And we can support each other. And when things get tough, we're there to lean on each other. Because it would be horrible for me to have a vision, and I'm excited about it, but you hate the vision, and you hate the investment it's going to take to get to the vision, so you'll become like a major just detractor of that vision of us creating together. And the truth is, it would have to be our vision.
We shouldn't really say that, right, though?
What?
Right off the bat.
No, I was just telling you, like, why. Yeah, no, air quotes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say we are creating a life together, and I want us to be able to look back on our life and say we had no regrets. And
so kind of make it a fun thing.
So what? Let's take an hour and maybe write down things we don't want. Let's write down some things we do want. And let's get crystal clear on what it is we want. Mm-hmm. And then only spend our energy and invest our time and resources into creating those things. Mm-hmm. Period. Would you want to do that with me?
Yes.
I do,
yes.
And if she says no, because you've neglected me for 6 years, and I'm seeing Jake from State Farm on the side, and I'm frankly about ready to dump your ass, then you need to go watch some of our other videos about how to regain the attraction.
You need the first aid kit.
Yeah, everybody here needs the first aid kit. I think even good relationships need the first aid kit. Mm-hmm. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that we talk about that most people aren't saying, and it gives a different perspective.
So Brendan Burchard says, common sense is not common practice. Yeah. So like you forget to ask your partner the good old fashioned questions like, where do you see your life now? Yep. Now that we've been together 8 years, like, have you changed?
What do you want the next 8 years to look like?
Things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and yeah, this is good. Yeah. This is good. And I know it's in one of the things in the 7-day first aid kit is some questions to help you guide your journey on figuring out what is the vision you want. And what are the things that you want? And you might run into the situation going through the 7-day guide, and if you actually jump into the 90-day survival guide, where you realize at the end of 90 days, hey, I'm like, for me to be alive, like I know for us right now, I can never move away from the beach.
Good.
It would tear a piece of my soul out of who I am. I don't struggle with depression. Never have. I think if I moved away from the beach, with what I've experienced now,
Mm-hmm.
it would be very tough for me.
Like, what would you do every morning?
I don't know. So, but if you were to say, no, my mom lives in Colorado and my brother and sister live in Colorado, and so I want to be around my family, we would have massively conflicting visions. There's no way to pull both those things off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could, but it would be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the purpose of this vision. What if you guys find out that you have two entirely different visions for your life? Maybe it's a good thing for you not to be together.
Wow.
Because now one guy can't live the vision, or one lady can't live the vision because she's being held back by the other person.
Wow.
And wouldn't you want to know that? I mean, this is stuff you should do before you'd ever get in a relationship. Right? But we don't think that way.
But you forget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So take a moment and think about, what do you want? What would you be proud of? What would you be able to look back at the end of your life and say, I lived it with no regrets? And I think you'll be very, very, it'll be very helpful for you to get the first aid kit, the 7-day first aid kit, because it's going to ask you a lot of questions to help you with this vision. For any closing comments or anything you want to say and add to that?
Nope.
What's your vision? No, I'm kidding. Just hold it. All right. Have a good one, guys. Congratulations on consuming another episode. If you loved it, then leave a review. If you know somebody else will love it, share the episode with them. And if you want our help or you want more resources, go to KeithAndJesse.com. KeithAndJesse.com. Jesse is spelled Jesse, like a boy.com. Go out and absolutely crush it. Have a great day. Go out and do what you got to do to make your relationship rock.